Hello everyone, this is Connor, and this is Tiny Glade. Tiny Glade is the new minimalist building game, taking over at least YouTube by storm. I've seen lots of content coming out about this game already and wanted to throw my hat into the ring just in case any of my subscribers who like chill, calming building games might find an appeal in this one. So far I found it to be just great fun. I think I've spent about 5 hours playing so far. I've already through watching other videos and tutorials, picked up some tips and tricks that maybe you can learn from as well. This is probably my build that I am proudest of so far. You can see there is just a great degree of detail that you can incorporate. A lot of storytelling that you can do, especially on this build at least, like this little area back here. There's a lot going on with these little decor elements, the groundkeeper's hut, this wheel here, fence and wall integration, these scratch-built stairs. There's lots of things that you can do in the game that are not maybe immediately obvious, so if you're just starting out, maybe this video can also serve as kind of a tutorial of some of these advanced tricks I have picked up from others to get cool little cluttered areas like this, which just have a lot going on in a small space. But we're going to be starting from scratch today. And I have some ideas about what I might want to build, but I haven't actually decided which theme it would look best in yet. I'm drawn to summer, I think because I was just building in flowery. Summer or autumn? You know what, let's go with the Timeless Classic. Alright, so when you first start out, you have an enormous glade spread out here, and you see this white border demarcating the largest your build can be. And they'll usually, I think every time, spawn you some content in the middle, which I personally do not want. Just gonna get rid of that real quick. There's some terrain here as well, which I don't frequently see on spawn. But in terms of what we're going to be building, I would like to have a little circular island in the middle, water all around it, and maybe some bridges, maybe 4, and then a large plaza courtyard area in the middle. Although now that I'm saying it, maybe it'd be more fun to build one of those giant bridges that has like shops on either side. Maybe that can be the next project. So starting out, an initial tip that I think is helpful is that some kinds of trees that spawn naturally will not appear when using the tree spawning tool. So you can see as I spawn all of these, they're all of kind of the similar size and shape and height, and yet this map actually also has these little shorties on it. So if we want to use those, we'll need to save them versus the rest of these large trees, which we could just take out. I think I will save some of the shorties just to have that option later. Because they are so small, actually getting the base is going to take just a second. Alright, so with a small group of these tiny trees saved, I can then just clear out quite a bit of space. We can replace these trees later if we want them. But for right now, I would like a clean slate to work with. And I can actually see that I missed some water earlier. Alright, now there's nothing here but our friendly animals. So broadly speaking, I'm going to use the terrain tool to start things off and get a sense of scale. I don't want this island to be perfectly circular or anything, but I do want it to be fairly large. And I think the structure that I build on it is going to be octagonal. So I think building circles of this size is going to be really challenging. Okay, so And with the terrain tool, you can alter how steep the sides are. Although with water, you can make them even steeper. But I don't actually think I want it to be either all that tall or all that steep. And this segment here might just sink completely. But just need a little bit of a rise there. And then maybe commiserate with that, we can have some sort of border around the edge. And good around this side too. Trying to keep kind of a natural, organic shape here. Not have it come off too obviously as just being a border all the way around. And maybe I end up putting a wall on this or something to make it less clear that we are, isolated from the surrounding terrain. Did this in a few chunks so I can tweak all of these up. Okay. And then this whole area can become water. And I don't want to go right up to the terrain in most of these places. I will build in finer gradations of this. Things like this you can take a lot of manual control of, but at least for right now, just getting kind of the rough shape down. Maybe I actually carve that out a little more. I like this being shallower. Maybe I can explore that with some buildings. And then I actually might want a little more ground here, curiously. Something more like that, and I'll make this a little deeper as an interest area. Okay, I think we have a semi-organic, but also very circular island here. Maybe take a little off of here to break up that clear circle outline. Okay. Now, broadly speaking, I do want this area to have like a courtyard, and to have stone as the ground. And so I'm going to, for right now, just get all these trees back out of here and I can start building actual buildings. I don't know what the development roadmap of this game is. I assume that they are seeing considerable success, because I am seeing it discussed quite a bit, at least in my circles. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see updates in the near future, but something like a mass selector could be helpful if you could drag and drop. Although, honestly, the way that I play the game and the way that the other people that I'm learning and taking inspiration from play does not seem to be the primary intended way to play. As always, I am kind of overdoing things. Alright, so here we have our beautiful island. And like I said, I want to brick the whole thing up. Whole thing bricked up. So I think the easiest way to do that is just to place these giant slabs like this. You can't really sink them any lower than that, although watching that kill all of the greenery just by impacting with the ground is satisfying. So I could just do a bunch of these and connect them maybe in some pleasing pattern in the middle. I think, at least initially, let me just get the octagonal shape down. I think that's going to be the thing that is, I don't want to say easiest to mess up, but that if it is incorrect, it's going to have far-reaching consequence just in terms of every angle that I build on everything and the whole rest of the project. Okay, so these are the same width. and they're already max length. So let me just build several of these, and then I can start tinkering with them while I still have this size and shape locked. I don't think I'm going to have enough space to do 2 to a side. Maybe I can do 2 and then 1 diagonally. So that would be 12 total. And I guess I can go ahead and keep this size saved in my tool just by not placing anything else, and see what the dimensions that I have in mind actually would look like. I think, as with all large-scale projects, fail early, fail often, like focusing on minimum viable prototype and getting things just sort of in place as quickly as possible is wise. Fascinating. The ground's just a little bit lower over here, I guess. So, clip those together. Looks about right. So if I do that dimension for the 4 sides, then this one will need to be at a 45-degree angle, and the easiest way to determine that is there some trick I can do with measuring it? I mean, that doesn't look bad, honestly. That looks pretty darn close to 45. And then I could go straight down from there. Akin to that. Though actually, I think this one's twisted a little. I think it needs to be more like that. And maybe having a regular octagon, regular octagon is not a good idea. Maybe I actually do want a little bit of variation, a little bit of showing that the builders worked with the natural terrain could be pleasant. I do like to have a little bit of storytelling in my builds. Not like anything comprehensive. I'm not going to like invent a culture to go along with this or something. Oh, and I'll need to make all of these the height of the highest one, because I can't go any lower. But yeah, having little just irregularities like this I think is actually desirable, or at least it ends up looking interesting, producing a little bit more intrigue. Okay, so hit approximately 45. Then I just kind of want to see how this looks if I do... Well, okay, that's nowhere near 45. I want to see how this looks if I place it just fully out over here. And that could be built into the ground instead. I mean, that looks pretty good. I don't want the greenery, but otherwise, I'm pleased with that. Yeah, I think this is going to be my direction. And ta-da! I decided to spare all of you the trouble of me actually measuring all this out, laying it out, making tiny adjustments over and over. So now we return to me having built a floor. I've even included a little bit of color variety just for excitement. And now that I actually look at it, I wonder if it would be cool to have these out in the middle. No, I think it looks clean like it is. So I have built a relatively flat, relatively even area. And I left these 4 little gaps because I think these will be perfect places in the future to put some trees. I don't want to do it yet because it would kind of gum up things, it'd be more difficult to see. But the next stage I want to tackle is building the first bridge. And I think I'm going to build from this direction over. So this is going to be the side that our bridge contacts into. And there are a ton of different ways that you can build bridges to get a ton of different aesthetics. One that I've seen people do is using a short version of this roof. You can get sort of a gentle bevel. You can also just make it flat like this, and using paths you can get some archways in there. That is an immediately tempting option. There are also potentially higher detail ways to do it, like if you just build a bridge like this, and then you can incorporate other support pillars of various types. You could probably do it with fences, you could do it with walls. If you didn't want especially arches. I don't have an immediate intuition for which method I want to use. I am drawn to arches and a central tower on the bridge. That seems appealing. So if I have a roundish, centered-ish building here, and build it not quite that high, up to about there, and then run some horizontal bridgey elements through it. Call it maybe that wide. Flatten down the roof. And I can almost certainly get those to overlap or disappear, and then do arches up to that, possibly. So if I had path in here, and then we've got some arches coming in, and oh, because they're not wall arches, I have pretty limited control. Okay. I am still very much learning the tool. So if you do arches with walls, you can control the height of the wall and also the height of the arch. So that can be pretty good looking. And these could each be separate as well if I wanted this arch to be much lower. But then if I have a slope up to it, getting these arches to adorn the side correctly could be kind of challenging. Let me see what I can do with arches on this side. So I'm going to do a little trick where I place the first build zone and then scroll the camera, and then place the second, and in so doing get a straight wall. And place that wall from the support beam all the way up to there. And this will need to be multiple segments shortly, but now can I just surgically arch this without creating a ton of smudged up ground? Well, kinda. And select this, cut it into two arches, raise that one up, and then raise the arch up, and single brick there is going to bother me, but it's pretty minimal. Maybe it'll be hidden by other detailing I do anyway. Because I think if I cut this, it'll, yeah. I mean, that's not awful. It's just because the terrain is so steep that you get this really steep bend in the arch here as well. Okay, but I can create arched supports like that relatively easily. And these could all match. I'm not dead set on this stone color, just checking it out. And then I was envisioning a smaller tower here that the path would go through somehow. I don't think I can impact that with paths down here. I wonder if I can create an arch there. I mean, if nothing else, I suppose I could do something like that. And then the path just runs through the middle. That's not bad. I actually kind of like that aesthetically. I can just make these pillars share. Or even make it larger. Although then you get this awkward pillar in the middle, which not a fan. Can you spin towers to get those placed differently? I don't know a way to. Well, something kind of like that. I think from a creative direction perspective, I do like this just fine. So, see if I can tweak the arch a little bit and also make it look a little more solid. And higher up. And then do actually need this to continue for a bit, and well, now it's arched too high, but conceptually it's pretty good. Maybe not conceptually, aesthetically it's pretty good. Move that point. Arch that up again. Yeah, that's getting there. Okay. So this side looks okay. I could do some more detailing work through here, and then I can theoretically replicate it. But how do I build like a slope here that I feel good about? Because I want it to be... I could build a slope just using horizontal walls steadily up to it, but then the whole thing would be full, although I guess... What if I have path and then wall and build up like that? I mean, from the side it would still look like a solid staircase, and then it would just only have this cavity from this sort of irrelevant back angle that people generally wouldn't be seeing it from. So that's an interesting idea, but I'm not sure it actually accomplishes much in function. I could just do a flatter bridge, or I could do several of these, like steps up, so I could have one like so. It's not straight. The fact that there's no like snap to grid or anything, I know it's part of the charm and the design and everything, but sometimes it does get in my head. Okay, call that close enough. Actually, now it just reveals that maybe the tower's support beams are not placed evenly either. I really wish there was a way I could rotate this. Maybe there is, and I'm just not familiar with it, but... Alright, there. Oh, and this probably should tract a little bit. Maybe this needs to be taller, or lower, or something. Yeah, I wanted that to be even, is what I was getting to there. Okay, and then this allows this whole thing to be a little lower as well. We're getting there, one step at a time. So now there's a step up, and I could place more of those steps, certainly, by doing more of these. And each one just being like that. And they don't need to have very much meat on them at all. They can be pretty darn thin. Alright, I think this is going to be serviceable. Let me see if I can tweak this a little bit and get it somewhere I want. Okay, so a little bit of tweaking later. I think I have kind of the rough idea of the bridge that I want here. Nothing too impressive. I did just match the arches on either side here as closely as I could, given that there's some variation in the terrain. And then stair step slowly down from here to this building, which should be one of the few buildings that's going to be sort of across the way from the main structure. And I also just placed some more of these like flat chunk buildings down here, as if building a little staircase down to the water. You can connect paths to buildings, and that will automatically create stairs. So I think maybe I can, without taking out all this nice greenery, I can include a little bit of that. And I wonder how it looks on this side, actually. If I wanted to path down to the water. Ooh. Okay. I haven't messed around a lot with various options for water building, but that does seem like it has potential. Okay. I'm gonna leave that. That is pretty. Maybe I can do something interesting around it here in the water. Can you put fences in the water? Okay, that's intriguing. I wonder if I just had infinite patience and time. Oh my god, you totally could just build like a pier. Yeah, you could just use fences to build an actual, like, I don't want to say wooden floor, but I think pier probably is the best word, and steadily build it out. I don't know if I have that much patience, certainly not right now, but you could build like a whole wooden thing out, and it would always have this like squared on top thing, which might not be desirable inherently. But I can build some of these classic posts out in the water. I don't actually know what causes those posts, like why people put posts out in the water, but do some of that, and then if you do flowers in the water, you get these first lily. I think there is a way to just get lily pads. Maybe it's using paths. Yeah, lily pads paths give you these rocks and these little lily pads, so could do some detailing around here. But I haven't actually decided on color scheme for this, so I suppose we should decide on that before doing much more. I don't know what the roof color scheme of the build is going to be even. I do love purple. It's my favorite color. And this roof I haven't put any effort into. I would probably... Well, I could match the vibe of this one. Don't hate that. And obviously that building will get a lot more detail in time, so it's not really representative of what it will look like now. But I don't want this stuff to be dissonant with this structure, so part of me does think I should just come through and wash all of this into this charming orange brick color. Yeah, I think I am going to do that. At least all the way across the water here. Maybe like that. I'm okay with that. I almost want, at that point, for this to be more contrasting. What if I did this up in a darker shade? Then the one down by the water can be even darker. That's kind of getting somewhere. At that point, I feel like this needs to be that shade as well. Maybe I do a couple little towers. More detail is not always better, but more detail is, in my experience, frequently better. And we would also make a steep peaked roof, and also dye the tower to match. Okay. I don't initially love it, but I don't hate it, so I'm going to try tweaking a couple things and seeing if I can get somewhere that I'm happier. I guess my next question is, like, what is this? Why would there be a tower here? What purpose can it possibly be serving? And if I make it a little larger, I could explain that much more readily if I put some doors on it. Now all of a sudden the tower's existence is justified. And I can do a little bit of detail work around here. Actually, it might be easier to just do it with a tower. One second. So if I make this just a ring of stone and move it inside and detail it out a little bit. We've lost the function of the door down here is the only problem. But I can't go lower to recover that function. Well, if I disable snapping, I'll be able to place it more accurately. Maybe the problem is that I actually need to make it a little bit smaller and then just not care about the door at all. Like, just place it coming out of the tower like that, and a little bit higher up. Wish I could get more stone in there. That might be a terrain tool or a water tool fix, though. And this little bit of flowers right here I can just probably path out. Yeah, okay, so a little bit of clipping still. That's very fixable. I don't know if I like it. Okay, I definitely don't want it to snap. I guess it ultimately feels like why, you know? Yeah, if I move that door over, and then we can recover a little bit of the stone and take out another bush. Okay, there we go. That's better. Can I convince this wall to look any more? Yeah, okay. I just don't like how it looked like it was unstable, not in contact with the stone down here. So yeah, if you want to get into this sort of really tiny detail work, you can do a lot. Okay, so that has to be that far out from the wall in order to drop into the water. Oh, nope. So you can even see as I tweak this wall slightly, you can see that brick that descends into the water disappearing. Now I don't like how unnatural that arm looks. There we go, that's pretty good. Okay. And this also is in the water, so it can get a darker color. Maybe not that dark. Yeah. Okay. I like it because it's detailed. I'm not... No, I actually do like it from this side. Okay. We'll call that like it is. So, looking for a little more options for detailing down here. Going to do a trick where I'm going to place... Oh. Get a barrel, and then stretch this. To hide that trapdoor. Yeah, not bad, huh? So you can use clutter elements like this emerge from doors and windows, and you have a fair amount of customization about which one you get, but you do have to typically finesse things a little bit just to get an object to show up. But you can do little tricks like this where, like, you know, I would not say that meaningfully detracts from the build, and I might even be able to, you know, hide it a little bit more to generate this barrel from a hidden object. So tricks like that are super helpful. This building is not yet detailed, obviously, but let's just return to the tower. I'm kind of getting sidetracked working on a lot of different areas around here. So what else do I think this tower needs? Well, I do want to put a little chimney on it, and I could do a stone chimney. That could also be part of the justification of this area down here. So there's like a stove in the bottom of this tower. Who lives in this tower? What's happening here? Also, alternately, I could try and get one of the little metal ones, which you can do by hiding one of these arrow slits and then placing over top of it. So I could do like that instead. That is pretty cute. Okay. Get rid of that. And I don't know if I love the placement there, but conceptually I like it. Maybe here to change the silhouette of the tower a little bit. So I'm going to try and place this like around the back. And then too far, actually. Okay, so... And now if it's going to be this visible, I'm just going to try and hide it within as much as possible. Or even just like that. That seems fine. Yep, and then some windows. And because I have the arched door, I am initially drawn to arched windows as well. The twofers look a little big. And line that up. You can click on the window to change what color of the stone it's borrowing, so get those to be pleasing. And do another couple windows back here. Maybe more like this, actually. Well, now I'm tempted to make this more of a thing, to see if the reason that I don't like it is because it's too minimal, but that seems like maybe foolhardy. Okay, I'm just gonna bulk it up a little bit. Now the door has some clipping again. Just gonna fix that minimally. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. I can definitely sneak a window in here to get clutter objects. How much can I hide this window and still? The shovel is so subtle. I mean, even the... Oh, there we go. Nice. Okay. I do like the barrels. So yeah, that window is nearly invisible. I wonder if I can... Because it's one of the hanging fabric windows, if anything, it looks a little more visible than I would like. One of the laundry windows. So I might try and... Yeah, there we go. Get a barrel from a flower pot window, which just disappears into the flowers there. Okay, I like that. And do we want a second one clipped back in here somehow? Now I got a log pile down there. A little birdhouse. Aw. Huh. Okay, so that moved the barrel out, which is interesting. And also added super little hidden bench. I think I do want... Ooh, so much stuff. Okay, having the bucket here by the water is nice, because that looks like maybe clothes washing or something. That is a little more visible than I would like, but I can probably hide that with a wall. Walls you can do a ton with. I would say careful wall utilization is definitely one of like the most powerful sort of tricks in the game. Yeah, so that window is now invisible. I could bury the other one too, but I've got these two barrels here and the washing pot. Okay, what else is this missing? We do want a bottom moor step here. So that's actually... Not only is it not lower, it might be a little bit higher. And I can't drop this any lower. It's interesting. I wonder if, by cutting it, I could achieve a better result. Yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty far back from the wall, and I almost need to be far back, because when I come into contact with it, I activate the pathway, which is causing this to be here at all. Okay, I don't think that's going to work, but as an alternative, why don't I do a little bit of this? Make that as small as possible. Okay, yeah. Technically there's an arch there, but it doesn't feel like it's visible. And these can be dyed as well. Wonder if I stretch this out, how it's going to look. Like you could just tweak things forever in this game. Like because you have some degree of control, but also there's significant chaos in what happens. You can make little subtle alterations and then just see what the impact is. And yeah, okay, I like that. Got some good clutter through there. The house I don't want to tackle yet. That seems like a whole thing. But why do you have a door access down here? What is this area going to be for? Well, I do like fences. Maybe we can start off with that. Little short fence and color it in dark all the way to the wall. Some of these need to be inched back in. I like this one's not on secure ground. Yeah, it's floating. And little things like that, it might not seem consequential, but I think the eye does pick out whenever things like that happen. It makes the space look less real. Just making little tiny tweaks to try and actually get this on the ground. That's better. And I could put flowers down here. To a certain degree justify its existence. I could decorate this wall or hide a wall within it and try and decorate that and get some clutter generated that might justify this area. That seems achievable. I did see a shovel just there for a second, but I'd love like a hay bale maybe? I don't know, this seems like a silly place to store things, because you would need to come down here to access them. I could also, if I path across here, it'll generate, my path's so small, it'll generate stairs, so this could be like another kind of access point. That'll need to be smoothed out some, but that is achievable. Smooth it, the existing bit a little bit. And then let me build some new terrain here. Lower it and smooth it out. Okay. Don't know if I like that. I feel like it still doesn't justify itself. And also at this point, The fence would need considerable adjustment again to make it sensible. Yeah, okay. I think that's appealing, and the door in the tower makes sense. This wall just needs something on it, and it doesn't make any sense for it to have windows. Maybe I could put little, like, drainage holes down low there, and then a lantern. And I think I want this place to be realistic, so all my lanterns need to be yellow. I like the multicolored fancy lanterns, but don't think you will encounter many green lanterns out in the wild. Okay, and just move this tree out of the way to get some more visibility. And then I can do stuff up here, like a little porch or patio or something. Okay, that I think will sufficiently justify this tower. So now if I come in here, place down something. Okay, this is a problem, but how can I fix that? No, very easily. Okay. Obviously that isn't appealing, but that could be cleaned up manually, or maybe I just shrink this in a little bit. Okay. And this would also need to be a style match. Okay, that's getting somewhere. Now this does require... Oh, and because it's paths, it's going to be... this is going to be a nightmare. Well, I could do just stairs the hard way the whole way, or I could tweak the terrain around here to make it a little more amenable, we'll say. Something more like that. Okay. I'm liking how this is looking. And I can just put one stair here and find a way to make it not look horrible. How do I make it not do this? Which is just going to be erasing the path that is actually causing that. Yeah, just like that. And then the stair can be made smaller and dyed. It really does feel like I need one more stair to justify this. Yeah, it's just not, I'm not getting any sort of actual elevation change because of where the ground is. Wonder if, I mean, I guess if I do that and then adjust these stairs, that's not bad. I do want to take out some of this bush cover, but I think this looks reasonably believable. Nope. Yeah, I basically just need this stair over here. And to do that, I'll erase path. And erase this, actually. Maybe I just... Yeah. A little retaining wall. And stretch that in as far as I can. I think it's already as low as it can be. It's kind of cool that that rock right there clips up through it. I feel like that helps sell the idea. Okay, now I gotta take this bush out without turning this all into arches. So... perfect. Obviously not perfect. I was actually just at a certain point trying to see if I could take the bush out at all. So I want to see where the actual spot that kills it is. Seems like that bush is going to be too resistant to being altered. It's like this whole area isn't even hitting it. It's like right there. But also not. And this, the fence behavior, I could just remove the fence. I'm not concerned about that. My whole wall and stairs turning into arches is more frustrating. Okay, well, I think the bush is maybe coming from this building. Yeah. So alternately, I could just take it out that way. I do like many of the bushes around here, and I don't like these, but I guess I can take them both out. Yeah, that might need to be the way. I don't really see another option to accomplish that. And we're going to cut this a few times to get it more level. Yeah, okay. So this area is now fully justified, and this path could probably go away. Bringing back a bush. Nice. Okay, that's a good level of decor down here, I think. Maybe, nope, too much. Trying to get a single little flower area. That's a little bit more than I want, but I like the idea, so maybe I can engineer a slightly smaller one. Yeah, there we go. Just a little overgrown. And making our way up here, I am actually going to create a dummy floor, which I'm just going to use for the spawning of objects. So I want to get some clutter. No. Well, I appear to have placed those in the wrong floor. So instead we will select this, build it upwards, and then get some clutter going on. And then I can sink this down and raise, oh, not the part I wanted to raise. Raise this up just enough. And I might want to move these though. Can I find a way to select? Nice. Oh, did I think I had it and then I might have swapped away from it. That's not right. Here we go. Okay. Let's just move these over here. That's interesting. Huh, I hadn't thought about putting corners in the railing like that. Huh. I do actually like that aesthetically. That might have to be a thing I play with. Figure out what utilization of that I actually like. Well, the one flower up against the wall is funny because it's a sunflower and it's pointing at stone, which is maybe not how they would behave. But I think something like that. And I know that it's protruding a bit here. That seems like kind of a fun detail, though, not a problem. And let's get a nice double door right there. Then some shuttered windows. The bench that it spawned I like. Door should be centered. It's going to stay a pretty simple building. I don't want to totally overdo this because this is the main attraction, but yeah, I think I don't want to record like a million hours of me playing this, so I might actually call this here, but hopefully this shows you a little bit about the versatility of things you can do, and obviously I will record more of me working in this world if this is a thing people want, but so far I'm pleased with how this area is looking. Got a little bit of storytelling going on. Nothing, nothing that has real narrative per se, but just buildings that justify themselves. And then there's a lot more good work to be done over here, but I like how this area is looking. I think finishing touch, I think I do want just a little bit more of these lilies. Maybe one rock right here. Okay, so the best way to do rocks in the water is to erase and then terrain, and then you can do quite a bit. They're going to turn out initially really super pointy like that, so if you don't want that, you can water eraser them a little bit bigger, and you can make considerable tweaks like that, but that's pretty nice. I want it to be a little bit smaller though, actually. Yeah, something more like that. Lots more work still to be done in this area, but I think we have an excellent start. You can see something kind of picturesque starting to form. So I hope you all enjoyed. This has been Tiny Glade. Like I said, it released pretty recently, at least at the time of recording. So if you'd like to get involved in the fun, I'd highly suggest picking it up. I'm having a blast. Thank you all for watching, and hope to see you here next time.